Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. We are live from East Providence, Rhode Island, along with Anthony, the Hitman Florio, the man who allegedly tells it like it is. And we welcome you to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk tonight. We got Smackdown live. We got a lot to talk about. It was the fallout from TLC, and more importantly, as you see on noted on the card, we had a huge championship fight as our main event for the evening. Not only that, but we also had a return match from TLC for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions. The Wyatt family went up against Rhino and Heath Slater. Plus, we also got to hear for the first time in public the new WWE SmackDown Women's Champion, Anthony's girl, Alexa Bliss. We'll get into all that. Plus, tonight on the Mikey's Mindset, we got Lucha Underground. We also got the recap from Final Battle, which was the final pay-per-view event for Ring of Honor. And yes, we also crowned a new Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. You're just going to have to stick around. That's what we got lined up for you tonight. So, with that said, I am with Anthony Florio. We're waiting for Michael Bullock. He's running a little late. He's out of the town right now. But we're going to start the show off without him. And whenever he shows up, we'll catch him up. All right. So, with that said, we started it off with the man that runs the place, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, AJ Styles. He was in a walking boot, an air cast boot, showing the wears and the injuries from his championship fight with Dean Ambrose in tables, ladders, and chairs. He was interrupted by James Ellsworth, and Ellsworth was saying, you know what, I've beaten you 3 times before. I think I can beat you a 4th time this time for the WWE World title. And AJ's like, you're a delusional idiot. Do you realize what you just did? You cost Dean Ambrose the title, and you don't think for 1 second that he's not going to deny you the opportunity or come after you for payback? Ambrose comes out. Ellsworth was like, no, get out of the ring. I'm going to shake his hand, maybe no hard feelings. Dirty deeds. Middle of the ring. Laid him right out. All right. Let's go with the game. Let's go with the segment itself. It was good for what it was worth. I like the fact that AJ Styles showing that he is still the champion, the man that runs the place, the whole 9 yards. I don't have any problem with what he did, and it was amazing. Ellsworth is coming off as he's being that delusional guy. He's thinking that, oh, it's nothing, it was part of the business. Now I get my opportunity because I beat you in the past. As that Dean Ambrose has been tagging him along the whole time. He's been dragging him along the whole time. And Ambrose, Ambrose was just going to do whatever he was going to do. He was angry. He was upset. He felt like, hey, I had the title won. If it wasn't for you, sure enough, he paid a price. A heavy price, to say the very least. But I think it was a good segment. Good way to start the show. With that said, Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
All right, thank you very much indeed, MF, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. We do apologize for the late start. Waiting on Mr. Bullock there, but let me just say it like this, MF. I mean, it's great that we're hanging here, the band back together here. That's all there is to it. I mean, it's always exciting. Dee Woodson not able to join us tonight, work commitments and beyond her control, and I really doubt that we're going to be seeing Bullock tonight. I don't know why, but I just got this feeling we're not going to see, because he's usually busy on Tuesdays. Anywho, we're lucky we even get him at times. So I'm not sure if we're going to see him, but we'll see. You never know. But that's just my opinion. But anywho, James Ellsworth is dead as a character. The crowd didn't react to him at all. If they are going to pull the trigger on him turning heel and joining up with AJ Styles, they better get on with it, because they've reached the land of apathy with him. So segment was fine as a whole. I mean, nothing really. I mean, Styles with a walkie. I don't know if that was. I don't know if he was faking or if he really is hurt. I mean, if he was really hurt, I mean, wouldn't we have read a dirt sheet saying that he was hurt? I mean, I don't remember coming across any of those. I don't know about MF, but anywho, segment was fine for what it was. That's really all there is to say. Right around the second or third best, in my honest opinion. So there's really nothing left for me to say. So let's just move on to our first match, MF, and it's that big return match from TLC.
It is the first return match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship. It was the champions, the Wyatt family. Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt goes up against Beauty and the Beast, Heath Slater, and the Man Beast Rhino, the winners of the bout, unofficially at 9 minutes and 28 seconds, and still the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions. It is the Wyatt family, Randy Orton with an RKO on Heath Slater for the victory. Florio, I give it to you.
Decent match, but not a great one. Wyatt and Orton feel like they are on another level, and the matches haven't done anything to elevate Slater and Rhino to feel like they belong there. So with that being said, about 2.25 to 2.5 stars. I think it was definitely a little better than the TLC match because they got a little more time to work with. And sum it all up, it was just a match. But the focus on Wyatt and Orton at the end with nothing about Slater and Rhino told the story. So, yeah. And it's the most interesting Orton's been in years. Wyatt keeps on winning. Wyatt's finally winning and finally reaping the rewards that he should have had a long time ago. And that's one of the reasons why SmackDown Live is fun. So well done indeed. And solid bout, a smidge better than the TLC bout, but that's not saying much. So no big surprise with the outcome. You knew Orton and Wyatt were going to hold on. And the question is, who are they gonna go up against next? Well, stay tuned in this review, friends out there, because we just might have their next possible challengers. So hold on, don't touch that dial just yet. So 2.25, 2.5 stars. I probably would say maybe second best fight of the night, if I'm being honest. So MF, let's just get your thoughts on this tag title return bout.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 2.5 stars is my rating. It was a good match. I'm not gonna say it was overly great, but I thought it served its justice. I had nothing bad to say about it. So we're just gonna move on, and I'm gonna go with this, and I don't think did this happen on the show tonight? Hold on, let me just check something quick. Okay, it did. So we'll get into that later. Basically, it was Dasha Flores, as she was conducting an interview with Kalisto. He wanted another shot with Baron Corbin. Obviously, that was going to happen. We'll get into that later in the night. All right, so the next thing we had was Carmella, and she was supposed to face Natalya, and basically, she was bragging that, that was responsible for the attack on Nikki Bella that knocked her out of the Survivor Series. Well, Natalya came out. It led into a brawl because these two ladies were supposed to be in a one-on-one matchup. The fight never got off the ground. The fight never happened. Excitement than anything else, but then they ran out. She runs out. They both run out of the arena, and in the backstage, Natalya was going around looking, obviously probably looking for Carmella. Who does she run into? Nikki Bella herself, the victim of the attack at the Survivor Series. Well, Natty was saying, look, Nikki, you got to believe me. I would never do that to you. You're a friend of mine, the whole 9 yards. I'm not responsible for this attack. Nikki does not say anything. She just walks off. Did she really do it? Did she not do it? Does she believe Natty? Maybe not. Let's see. But one thing's for sure, storyline progression is definitely the winner on this night. Basically, you see Carmella planting the seeds, trying to say, hey, it's Natalya. She was responsible. Who is the one that was the most to gain on what happened at Survivor Series? Natty did get knocked out because she did fight Nikki Bella. The winner of the fight was going to be the captain of Team SmackDown in the Survivor Series, and the loser was going to get knocked out of the fight. Because of the fact that Natalya lost, she got relegated to coach, and then, oddly enough, the night of Survivor Series, she gets implemented as the fifth and final team member because Nikki Bella was a no-go because of an injury to her neck. So, take it for what it's worth. But Carmella is doing a really good job of stirring the pot. Even though she could be responsible for it, we don't know. Because to do a misdirect, say, hey, I never did it, I wasn't responsible for it. Yeah, I got my beef with you because of you and your glorified boyfriend, John Cena. I'm not stupid enough or sadistic enough to pull a stunt like this. Maybe she wasn't. A lot of questions, not enough answers. Florio, it's yours.
Let's see. I really hope this is misdirection until they can get Mickie James on the show. I think she'd be a much better candidate for this attacker feud because she can hang both on the ring and on the mic. And Natty really struggles with mic works. So yeah, I mean, storyline progression definitely works here. And because that's what SmackDown Live's known for. And of course, that's one huge advantage they've always had over Monday Night Raw and continues to have. Although Raw has shown an incredible improvement over the last few weeks. Trust me, they have. And this Raw guy couldn't be any more happier about that. But nonetheless, like I said, I'm hoping it's misdirection until they can get Mickie James on the show. And I mean, I would love to see that. So, and I know MF would too. So that's all I can say on it. MF, you pretty much touched on everything else. So with that being said, let's just move on.
All right. So the next thing that we had on the show was a tag team match. The Ascension goes up against the Hype Bros. The winners of the bout was indeed the Hype Bros. They got the victory here. 2 minutes, 52 seconds. Anthony Florio, what says you?
1 star for the bout. It was basically, in one word, meh. There's just nothing there for either of these teams. WWE doesn't really have a ladder for them to scale in the tag division, as they'd have to go from wrestling other low-card acts to getting in the ring with American Alpha, the Usos, or Orton and Wyatt. I don't have a problem with either act, but WWE hasn't given anyone a reason to take them seriously. And that's what we're all about. We want a reason to take them seriously. And, well, the result here was not a surprise, given that Wyatt and Orton, they do need a new babyface team to feud with now that they've moved on from Slater and Rhino. If nothing else, it sets the pecking order in the middle of the tag team division. Don't worry, American Alpha will get their shot. But if you want to progress them slowly but surely and give them a little bit of a run with these belts, maybe the Hype Bros could be that next team in line. Just a food for thought. 1 star is really all I can give this. It was a meh fight, if I'm being real honest. It's something you would see on like Main Event or Superstars or something. So nothing really more to say. Kind of a snoozer fight. So I'm after your thoughts on this.
No, you know what? I'm gonna cut this one out. I mean, I'm just gonna leave it as is. You pretty much covered everything that heard. However, we're gonna get into this. Miz TV, The Miz, as he's gloating over his big victory over Dolph Ziggler, now His guest tonight was none other than Dean Ambrose, and a really good segment. I really enjoyed this. I loved how they were really trying to, put everything going on. But the one thing at the end of the night that made it very clear was, well, here it is. Daniel Bryan showed up, did a funny little, Daniel Bryan came out and he was not playing tonight. The fans were excited as always, and Daniel Bryan dropped a bomb on all of us. Our main event of the evening, but if you've already seen my title at the beginning, you already know what the main event is going to be tonight. The Miz putting the Intercontinental title on the line against Dean Ambrose. Anthony Florio, what says you?
What says me is that was the segment of the night right there.
I agree with that. Oh, yeah.
It was an above-average Miz TV segment, but maybe a bit too on the nose if you care about exposing the flaws in Ambrose's babyface character. That said, the crowd in Houston was excited for the title bout, and who can blame them? I mean, we were initially supposed to have AJ Styles and James Ellsworth for the WWE World Championship, but because of this quote-unquote injury to Styles, I still don't know if that's a legitimate injury or not. But to make up for it with an Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship match with The Miz against Dean Ambrose, me up. And we'll get into that in just a short. So there's no doubt about it. It was the segment of the night, no question. I mean, that whole thing about the participation award. I mean, that was a little funny there, and I mean, that was the one that stood out to me. And then Daniel Bryan coming out, I mean, and then making that bout, crowd chanting yes, and asked if it was because they wanted an IC title match. And then Miz played irate in a way that would make the Nature Boy Ric Flair proud. So that's all I can say on that. So segment of the night, absolutely no doubt about that whatsoever. So, and now we're going to move on to another return match from TLC that honestly wasn't as exciting as their original bout.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. It was Kalisto versus Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin gets the victory at 4 minutes and 11 seconds. It was just there. I'll openly admit it. It was just there. It was good for what it was worth, but it was way too short. It wasn't as thrilling or exciting and as epic as the table ladder and chair fight was. I actually did get a chance to see the fight, and Anthony, you were absolutely right. This was a pleasant surprise. I was like jaw dropped over how good that match was. So no doubt about it. Definitely a more better fight. This one I could probably give like 1 star for the effort, but that's really it. So Florio, I'm just going to give it to you.
No, I'm glad to hear you not only saw the bout, but I'm glad that from TLC, but I'm glad you agreed about that chairs match. I mean, that was awesome. I told you were gonna love it. I knew you would. I mean, I know you. I know how much you love the hardcore gimmick matches, and I'm not at all surprised that you got into that. I knew you would. As far as this goes, oh yeah, I'm right there with you. I agree. 1 to 1.5 for the effort. Kalisto and Corbin, they're in a tough spot. WWE doesn't seem to have much interest in putting Kalisto over Corbin, but there isn't a ready-made feud for Corbin to move on to. I think Corbin would quickly be exposed as very mediocre card. So, I mean, could there be? I mean, somebody brought up an idea maybe of having him go back to squashing jobbers for a bit until they have another feud ready, but. To sum it all up, it was good while it lasted. And like at TLC, Kalisto got to show off a little bit before the loss. Still, I'm not sure why they'd have Kalisto take another loss to Corbin here other than lack of babyface depth. Really all I can say about that. The chairs match was far and away better. And like I said Sunday night, it was the best chairs match ever when it comes to that gimmick. So I agree. So let's just move on to MF.
All right, and the next thing we had was a one-on-one match. Tyler Breeze from Breezango against Chad Gable he was ready, willing, and Gable. You can definitely use the true words on this one. Chad Gable from American Alphas going up against Tyler Breeze from Brazongo. And the winner of the bout in 3 minutes and 23 seconds was Chad Gable. Excuse me. I'll just give another short fight. Really nothing to really go over. I mean, it's a nice victory for him. He gets a good win here, and it's just something that, you know, now they're just trying to work the teams out. Even though I think American Alphas is most likely going to become the next contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championship, which I will admit that should happen. We'll just have to wait and see if they're going to pull the trigger. Are they going to wait for the Royal Rumble, or are they going to wait till, you know, whenever they do their February event, which will be their lead-in or their run-in heading to WrestleMania? But I think what we're going to see is the tag team titles on the line at the Royal Rumble, and I'll call it American Alpha versus the Wyatt family. Why not do it? Anthony, it's yours.
Agree with you on everything there. Short bout, yes, but it was a fun short bout. And that's why I'm actually going to give this 1.5 to 2 stars. That was a fun match. If only for Gable's sharp-looking offense. I think the rolling German is great, but it really depends on a smooth transition from roll to suplex, and this one wasn't the best I've seen. Hoping that American Alpha is getting set up for a major push because they have been underutilized over the past few months. There was a lot of extracurricular stuff in the 2.5 to 3.5 minutes we had here. Hard to tell after tonight if it'll be Hype Bros or American Alpha next up for Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton when it comes to the Smackdown Tag Team Championship. So that's really honestly all I can say. So 1.5 to 2 for the effort. So, and now we're about to get into something that honestly I've been when I first saw that this was going down on the show during the hot open. Oh boy, and one of the reasons why we had the late show was because I needed time to recover from this because it was time for the girl that I call my future ex-wife. Go ahead, MF.
It was Alexa Bliss, as she's the woman, the WWE Women's Champion on SmackDown. This was her celebration. They didn't roll anything out to the T. A massive pyro explosion at the rampway when she showed the belt off to the whole world, but was very short-lived. Interrupted by former WWE SmackDown Women's Champion, my girl, Becky Lynch. She basically said, you know, she can call her whatever she wants. She, you know, calls her a pundit, a whiny little girl. SmackDown Live, and Alexa turns around and is like, you know what? You can call me whatever you want, but you should call me champion. And Becky's like, you know what? I like it better the way that I call you anyway. And she's like, you know what? Your reign began with me. Your title run is going to end with me when I get my rematch tonight. I sell a little bonus here in Houston. Sorry, boys. Alexa flaked out and basically turned tail with the limber tail between the legs and ran away from the former champion. But something tells me that's not going to last too much longer. Either Daniel Bryan or even Shane McMahon might have something to say about it. Storyline progression on this one, folks. Anthony Florio. That's about the girl that's going to be your soon ex-wife and her performance tonight. And are you thinking what I'm thinking? Royal Rumble? These two get it on one more time for the title?
Well, you have to put 60,000 butts in the seats now, don't you? When it comes to that venue, and why not? I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it at the Rumble, although I kind of want to see it sooner because we got a hell of a lot of time before the Rumble. We got a little less than 2 months before the Royal Rumble. MF.
Very true. Very true.
It's not till January 29th. Let's keep that in mind, and that's the next time SmackDown Live is going to be on pay-per-view. Although Raw is going to be on pay-per-view sooner than that, on the 18th, with the Roadblock end of the line. And I'll say it like this: from a professional standpoint, it was my second best segment of the night. From a personal standpoint, it was my favorite segment of the night. Hello, because Alexa Bliss. Hello, I mean, I couldn't help but notice, MF, that you on your Facebook today, you posted the video of the Animaniacs Hello Nurse theme song. I could not help but notice that. That's something MF and I have had a lot of fun with over the years. And anytime we would see a beautiful woman that, we both fell in love with or what have you, whether it's someone that he likes or someone that I like, every time I see Alexa Bliss. Heck, that's also every time I see Charlotte as well. I mean, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are my top two crushes when it comes to WWE's women's division overall. And every time I see them, and it makes me want to say hello, nurse. And last night we saw what Charlotte Flair did in that unbelievable segment with her father, Ric Flair, and Sasha Banks, and then Alexa Bliss with this tonight. And the reason why I say it's second best from a professional standpoint, got to be professional here. It was a little rushed, if I'm going to be real honest. It felt rushed to me. I wanted to see this go on for a little bit. It was honestly a pretty basic follow-up promo for Becky and Alexa, but we have a long way to go until the Royal Rumble. I'm wondering if they'll try and extend the feud all the way to the Royal Rumble or try and have a match on SmackDown Live in between now and then. I suppose an inconclusive bout could set up a final encounter, but they already had to do that once. So I really don't know what else there is to say on that. But honestly, as happy as I was to see Alexa, and believe me, I'm always happy to see her. I mean, it wasn't exactly thrilling. It was not exactly a thrilling follow-up to this past Sunday's bout. But as usual, both did well. The only gripe I have was it felt kind of rushed to me. Wanted to see this get a little time like the Miz TV segment did. But nonetheless, awesomeness. And the feud between MF's girl, Becky Lynch, who, if he ever brought her home to his mother would love her just as much as he does. Whereas Alexa Bliss, well, she's the girl that not only would be my future ex-wife, but would be a future ex-wife to so many guys out there because of her biatchy persona. So, although watching the Talking Smack the other night, well, it was almost like she went back to her old character for a little bit, the sweet innocent girl and that's when I fell in love with the girl initially, the sweet and innocent character, the fairy princess character that she had, if you will. But then once they turned her heel in NXT with Blake and Murphy and all that, she's come such a long way, and here she is now, the SmackDown Women's Champion, the second SmackDown Women's Champion behind Becky Lynch. We're going to get that rematch soon enough. I don't think it's going to be at the Rumble. I think it's going to be on SmackDown Live, considering we got a hell of a lot of time. A little less than 2 months before we get to the Rumble. Not till January 29th, though. Although it would be a good way to put those 60,000 butts in the seat in that beautiful venue. And I'm glad. I can't believe they actually. I'm still stunned that they're putting that in the Alamo Dome. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, Alamo Dome could easily have been a WrestleMania style venue, but in this case, they probably did it here. Although that venue should have had a WrestleMania 13, if I'm going to be real honest with you, way back when. So there's really nothing left for me to say. Professionally, second best segment of the night. Personally, my favorite segment of the night because Alexa Bliss, well, to sum it all up before we wrap up on the main event, Alexa Bliss, in my honest opinion, she is so flippin' sexy. let's just move on to that.
All right, and we're going to get into that main event, and it was for the Intercontinental Championship. The Miz, winner of the bout at 13:44, still the Intercontinental Champion. The Miz, well, here's what happened. A strange finish to the fight. Dean Ambrose was going up on the top rope. Looks like he was going to do a high-risk maneuver. Maurice grabs the legs on Dean Ambrose, pulls him off the rope. He bungees himself off the turnbuckle back into the ring. The next thing we know, James Ellsworth came out trying to complain to the referee, hey, Maurice interfered. Basically, Ambrose sees Ellsworth. He turns crimson red, like, you son of a gun, I'm going to kill you. Before he does anything, Miz grabs him, skull-crushing finale. 1, 2, 3. Miz wins. Anthony, you lead on the main event.
Far and away, fight of the night. 3 to 3.25 stars is the best I can give it. I would have liked to have seen this get a little more time as well, but it was an average match with a predictable finish. It's easy to understand given the ladder matches just a few days ago. There wasn't a lot of magic there. James Ellsworth came across as a hapless idiot, but I don't think that will last long. He'll reveal his master plan with Styles soon enough, and then the program might get interesting again. So that's really all I can say about it. James Ellsworth, like I said, he came off looking like a stupid idiot muttonhead, if I'm going to be real honest with you. And I don't know what else there is for me to say, except it was not as exciting of a title bout as I would have liked, considering the talent involved. I mean, you put this on a pay-per-view. I mean, this is 3.5 to 4 easy, but I can only give it 3 to 3.25. But I will say it was far and away the fight of the night, no question. So, with that being said, MF, your thoughts on the main event?
No, I agree with that. 3 stars is my rating for the main event. It was good. It was solid. I liked it. Good body of work. Everybody did fine. I'm not really too angry about James Ellsworth because he didn't really physically get involved in the fight. So I didn't mind the way that this fight ended. So I know The Miz was supposed to win. They're going to try to plant the seeds for Daniel Bryan to throw a better, more stronger opponent. I think it's just going to be more stronger and better. And it also develops an even bigger rivalry between bros. So, no, I don't have nothing wrong with it. Overall review time, I'm going to lead it off. It's somewhat disappointing. I'm going to be openly about that. I give this about maybe 5.5 to 6 stars. I'm sorry. I kind of felt like it was good for the most part. I mean, there was some okay action, but I think SmackDown just needs, I don't know if they really need a spark or the talent, or if it's just maybe because, TLC just happened, so not all the guys are going to be at 100%. Then I understand that that's, you got to give them a little bit more time to recover and heal like AJ Styles did. Ambrose seemed like he was in good shape. Some other guys seemed like they were good, but I don't know. It just never really. I never was really that excited for the show. If you can agree with that. So 5.5 to 6 is my rating. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 5.5 to 6 out of 10. That's about right. I mean, MF, I hate to say this, but what's going on with the show, man? I mean,
I don't know.
For the second week in a row, Monday Night Raw ends up being better. I can't believe I'm saying that. I mean, these SmackDown Lives over the last couple of weeks have felt like the SmackDowns of old before this whole thing started. I mean, it feels like we were watching these average and mediocre SmackDowns before the whole SmackDown Live thing started. I mean, don't get me wrong; they still got the storyline progression and whatnot, but the matches were all pretty much there. I mean, no matches really stood out other than the Miz and Ambrose fight, and maybe the tag team title fight. But other than that, I mean, all the other matches were pretty much short filler matches, honestly. And The Miz TV segment was also the fine stuff. That was also the segment of the night. I mean, Miz and Ambrose were pretty much the MVPs of this show tonight. The women's segment was, like I said, it was good, but honestly, I wanted to see a little more on that. I felt that they really rushed it, honestly. So that's really all I can say about it. And so yeah, 5.5 to 6, that's about right. I mean, MF, you gave the great reason about TLC and the whole 9 yards. So hopefully next week they can, they can get that spark going, and we can finally get, so those quality SmackDown live shows that we had been spoiled with over the last several months. But honestly, I think for the second week in a row, Raw was the better show. Sorry. So with that being said, we got a great Mikey's Mindset coming up. I'm very curious to hear what MF has to say about this past week's Lucha Underground. As one performer on this show, who's one of the big draws, one of the top performers in that company, wound up doing something very interesting that took up the entire hour on LRA. And then MF, in the other big moment of your Mikey's Mindset, and what I'm looking forward to hearing is this ROH final battle, which you said crowned the new World Heavyweight Champion. I'm interested to see who that was. So with that being said, MF, it's all yours. Mikey's Mindset. Let's do this thing.
All right. Well, basically, it was a punishment. Pentagon Dark did something that maybe he should not have done. He broke the arm of the Black Lotus, and Dario Cuero told Pentagon Dark, be careful why you did that, because now the Triad is after you. Sure enough, the Black Lotus Triad, they all showed up, and they all wanted a piece of Dark. So it turned out to be a full night. Three members of the Black Lotus Triad, and they all got a chance to go up against Pentagon Dark in a series of matches. The first fight was Pentagon Dark versus Deku. For all you Japanese fans out there, that is Akira Hoyo. And forgive me for if I do pronounce these names wrong, because I'm not. Derek Ferrer is a lot more better than I am. He normally handles the wrestling from Japan. I do a little bit, not all the time, but I do once in a rare while. I'll do like wrestling, and sometimes my pronunciations are not the best. So please forgive me if I do mess up on these names. But Pentagon Dark won the first match pretty handily. Then the second fight of that, it was Pentagon Dark versus Yurel or Yuri, and that is Amaya Itawa or Itanswa, and they went up, and Pentagon Dark won that one. And then it was Hiroki Kai or Leo Soria, and Hiroki Kai actually beat Pentagon Dark, and then they did the unthinkable. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. The Triad broke Pentagon Dark's arm. They did it out of respect for what he did to Black Lotus. And like I said, they call the episode Breaker of Bones. We saw 3 broken bones when it was all said and done. And this time Pentagon Dark ended up being a victim of his own monstrosity. Unbelievable show. I mean, this was as good as you can get. This is not done by a long shot, folks. Pentagon Dark and the Black Lotus Triad, this has just started a brawl that could be even more epic. We'll get into that down the line. All right. So before we get on out of here and call it a night, let's do it. Final battle, Ring of Honor, Final Battle 2016. Man alive, what a show this was. Okay, so we're going to start it. It was from the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York. It basically started with a 6-man tag team fight. It was Rex Titus, Kenny King, and Caprice Coleman, the Rebellion, versus the Motor City Machine Guns and Donovan Dijak. The winners of the bout was the Rebellion. They get the victory on that. Then the next fight we had was Silas Young, a pro wrestling last great man, against a legend in not only Japan, but in WCW, Thunder Liger. He was in the house. The crowd went nuts in New York. Unfortunately, Liger fans, this was not his night. Silas Young with the victory. Then we had Dalton Castle versus Colt Cabana one-on-one. Dalton Castle wins that bout. Then we had a big surprise. One-on-one with Cody Rhodes. Yes, that Cody Rhodes from TNA. They went at it one-on-one. Cody Rhodes with the victory. Then we had the finals to determine the first ever 6-man tag team champions. The Kingdom. TK O'Ryan, Vinny Macia, and Matt Taven versus Kushida, Leo Rush, and Jay White. The winners of the bout was the Kingdom. They're your new tag team. They're your new 6-man tag team champions. Marty Solia versus Dragon Lee and Will Ospreay for the Ring of Honor World Television title. Marty Solia successfully defends the title. The Young Bucks puts their titles on the line. The Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship against the Briscoes. The Young Bucks walks away with the title. And in our main event, with a no DQ fight for the Ring of Honor World Championship, it was Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole, the winner of the bout, and the new Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion representing Red Dragon, Kyle O'Reilly. He's the new champion. Fight of the night from all indications, from what I've heard, between 4 to 4.5 stars was this fight. A tremendous main event, to say the very least. Done. That's it for tonight. So, I will say this. We got Strictly Sports on Friday night. Come in. We got Strictly Sports on Friday night at 10:30 Eastern, where we'll cover the NFL. We're going to get ready for all the NFL action that goes down this Friday night, 10:30 Eastern. And then we do this all over again Monday night on Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio, immediately after Raw goes off the air. And then, again, 1 week from tonight, we'll do this again. This time around, it's going to be 10:30 Eastern, not 10 o'clock, due to work commitments beyond my control. So 10:30 Eastern, Braves Fan 95. We will do another edition of the Mikey's Mindset. So that is it. We're calling it a night. For Anthony Florio, I am Michael Flecha. In spirit, Derek Ferreira. In spirit, Dee Woodson. In spirit, Michael Bullock. We'll see you guys on Friday for another edition of Strictly Sports, where we cover the upcoming action of the National Football League. So until then, you know the routine of the Hand Pounds. We are out. So long for now. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye for now.